Hello and welcome to year 6. We've got tremendous opportunities here. Huge allied bid this game, and our other rule is that we can't blow up these transports if they're not defended. So here I could just for free send this plane over. It would sink both transports, $14 value, handcuff the enemy on what they can do with their transports, but the AI won't protect them. Therefore, we will let the AI have them for free. Also, they have tons of units that they can drop in Britain, and they've got tons of bombers. So we're going to take back Western Europe, but we're going to do it with as few troops as possible. We have a huge air force that gets to retreat after the battle. So taking Western France back, kind of chilling. I don't think they can take Italy. I mean, the Americans can come over here, drop one person over, but they don't really have the planes anymore. They kind of moved them all into Russia to, like, defend Russia from really getting slaughtered. But Russia wasn't actually under threat this turn. Like, it'll be under threat next turn if I advanced on every axis that I have. But really, the Russian army is up here in Karelia, preventing me from taking my number one objective. My three-step punch for dismantling Russia is, do you take Karelia, you leverage that to maintain your economic superiority, because you can control a lot of territory. Then you use that economic superiority to take the Caucasus, which is like a primary focal point of Russia. It's a lot of production. It's another factory that you really don't want going to the Axis. Sometimes you need help from Japan coming through Persia to get it. But with this allied bid, the allies have been so strong in India that Japan has basically not been able to put that much pressure on it. So instead, we've gone through the mainland of Asia to really put pressure on the Russians, which is fine. But we had to skip number one because the enemy defended it so hard that now our army was able to just kind of pressure them in the center. They hobbled into Russia. If they had done this same strategy in the Caucasus, I'm not sure that... How many planes is that? That's like 4 planes here, 4 planes here, tanks and men. If they had all these planes and these 10 soldiers that didn't just yeet themselves into Kazakh, I probably would not be able to be taking this right now. Even under these conditions, the Russians could counterattack. The problem is that first the British are going to go, and they don't have enough to counterattack. Then the Americans are going to go, they don't have enough to counterattack. Then the Russians are going to go, and then both armies are going to die, basically. If the Russians went first, then they could guaranteed clean it up with the British and the Americans afterwards, but they just cannot because of the order of operations. So thrusting into the enemy here, we have an 11 unit bid, so we're going to be slugging men down. I've been debating on whether I should be protecting Italy or not. I'm not sure it really matters. I kind of like having it there so the Americans don't do a stupid little invade, but at the same time, we can't do much about it anyway. So we'll do this non-combat in a second. So we're attacking all these places. Can't take Karelia. The strategy of the game is going. We'll talk about Japan when the second half of the year rolls around, or after the British make their move. So France coming in, we've won. Northwest Europe coming in, we're killing them. They missed, so we won again. So now we're actually decently defended. Not that the British air power is so strong that there's nothing I can really do about it. Not to mention the Americans have Norway and Finland. That is sad. West Russia coming in the center. Again, we took it. And then Caucasus, there's no way. Wow, they've actually missed on all their return fires. They were all low chance return fires, but still. That's pretty sad for them. So the anti-aircraft gun we're going to put up there because we definitely want that or need that. We're going to land in Ukraine with these fighters. These ones are coming back to Germany. Do we defend Italy or not? Honestly, we can remove one guy from it. Everything else can go to Finland. And then we'll remove the anti-aircraft gun. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we don't want to remove the anti-aircraft gun. I kind of want to, because if the Americans could take it, it'd be a problem, but they can't take it because they're going to have a battleship shot and a single infantry. And these bombers, 1, 2, 3, like, I don't know if the bombers can even get there. So I think we're good. I think Italy's going to be safe because we have to put one of our units there. So let's hit done. Not to mention Germany's safe just from having 5 fighters there and 11 infantry. Like, it's quite thick, and then a bunch of income because we took Caucasus. All of this northern territory we lost and Africa is pretty much it doesn't matter anymore. Let's see, they're invading. The British are invading all over. They've got the air power that they need to make it happen. They've decided to help fight, push back the Germans. Oh, they actually failed to take France. That's a huge oversight. It doesn't really matter because the Americans can take it. But I'm happy to see it. Look at all these crap fleets. So they took, really, the British, what they were able to accomplish was taking Buryatia, taking West Russia, and taking Northwestern Europe. Then they kind of regrouped their fleet, it would seem, here. They put one of their fighters on the Indian Ocean fleet of the Americans, so the Americans can move it, which is actually pretty interesting for fighters, because you can land a fighter, like you can move a fighter 1, 2, 3, 4, land on a ship. The other player goes, moves their aircraft carrier, that moves your units for you, and then the next turn after that, you start moving your 4 movement from there. So you can kind of catapult your fighters using a friendly aircraft carrier like that. Really niche that you would ever need that. So expensive to have spare aircraft carriers to save 2 movement points on an already mobile fighter. But, you know, just saying, it's interesting that you can kind of game the system in that way. Where is the Air Force? Right there, 3 bombers. Oh my god. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if we do step into Buryatia, those bombers can come down, bomb us in Buryatia, and still land in India. So that's a problem for Japan, but that doesn't really matter too much. India doesn't have enough ground troops right now to really be doing the amount of pressuring that I want to be doing. And this American fleet is back in action, looking to threaten us, and this fleet still exists as well. And if they ever connected the Indian fleet with the Pacific fleet, not to mention this battleship here, we would have to start investing in our navy heavily again. We might even want to buy a cruiser or something. I'm not sure. Maybe another fighter, maybe more fighters in general. Hard to say, but I'll see you in a second after we've thought this one over. All right. Hello and welcome to the second half of year 6. Pacific first. Americans dropped a lot of stuff last turn. That is a little bit scary, right? There's 6 points of fleet here, a battleship nearby, and then the other fleet down here. So what I decided to do is take the Hawaii force, go take New Zealand with the bare minimum. The 2 biggest ships in the fleet, guarantee that kill. We'll get New Zealand. The enemy might take Hawaii back in this time, but if they do, they're going to go in with a bunch of transports, a bunch of men, and a air force and fleet that they just can't defend a counterattack against this fleet regrouping in on Hawaii. Now, I also brought my main fleet back with the aircraft carriers and loaded them up with some fighters and stuff, which makes them a lot nasty. So the enemy, like, cannot punch through this. This is like 5-10 points of health and defender's advantage at sea. Generally, it's just better to be defending almost always, unless you're very dependent on subs, and even then, subs are usually what you kill off first, and then your high value defenders. It's a whole thing. So, anyway, these guys here can't move forward because of our fleet. In fact, they might have to move back unless they reinforce it with the battleship and just stay idle. If they go for Hawaii this turn, they will get clapped. It will not be good for them. They might get the island back, great, but their fleet will die, and this one unit of production is just not worth it. This fleet down here, still scary, but there's still this little standoff. With my main fleet moving over to Wake Island as well, they could move into French Indochina, but we're buying 2 more subs. You can just see the top of them. So we could always come back at them with 4 surface vessels, right? Or subsurface, I guess, in the case of subs, and the bombers and planes. And this fleet is strong, but it's not like incredibly strong. It's only got 1 ground unit as well. So the other thing you got to consider is if they come in and drop their 1 ground unit and then you kill that ground unit, so what? Like, the fleet is useless to them other than for fighting our own fleet. We can just ignore it as much as possible. On land, Burma going in, 2 mana bomber, guaranteed kill. They can't shoot enough back, so that's fine. doing constant unloads from Japan. We got 2 factories now, so we had to buy lots of ground troops to just slug it inland. Here, we're going up into Szechuan sauce. They could attack us with these men. In fact, we're going to be landing 3 fighters in Xinjiang. So 3 fighters and 5 ground troops is 8 total stuff. They could send a bunch of men, a bunch of artillery. They could send up these planes, these fighters. They could even blitz a tank, and they could kill 3 of Japan's fighter air force and most of their Western army that exists right now, though lots of backup are on the way. The problem with that is, without these 10 units, they cannot defend Russia. This army in Karelia is too far away. There's lots of planes from lots of people in Russia. I still think we would take that attack, and they would lose a lot of things very quickly, and then they'd start losing bombers and fighters, and as soon as they rip through all of our infantry, we'd probably just retreat, we'd reinforce it, we'd land some planes there, we're going to be putting 4 more units down. It's going to be nasty. So they just don't have enough ground fodder to really protect this many jets, but at the same time, 10 planes, that's a lot. That's a lot of defense. Like, it is a lot. But I got 8 tanks, 8 tanks, and then it's 10 planes, but then, like, the 10 things that are defending it are, like, 4 bombers. Like, it's just trash. So we would come in with a bomber, we'd come in with a couple of planes. It's not great that 5 of our fighters are in Germany. I should have brought them into Poland, because from Poland they could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4 and landed in Belarus or in the Caucasus, but we do the best we can. So without further ado, I would have loved to attack this army. Also, I couldn't blitz my tank into Evenki or this Vologda and back, because there's a unit there, the anti-aircraft gun. Though the anti-aircraft gun isn't in Russia, so that's a win for me. Let's get done and do this war. Conduct naval bombs. So we're taking Japan, and that blows it up instantly. In this game, in this mode, you don't capture them, you destroy them when you conquer them. New Zealand, don't hit me back. They hit me back. That's scum. So if he doesn't go in Hawaii, I can still do the Australia for a turn, and then pick them back up, go to New Zealand, and drop them both on Western Australia and conquer it all. So good conquests over here. Let's go over to Burma. 1/3 chance. They do miss. Good stuff. And Novosibirsk. Wow, they missed there as well. So that was 2 artillery pieces. Pretty big win for us. We're going bomber all the way back to Japan just for that flexibility. It doesn't really give us the deep strike. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can get to Kazakh, kinda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as long as we have Xinjiang, we can still use the bomber in a limited capacity. We can't be bombing India or anything, but we haven't really used it as a bomber in that case. We just use it as a really powerful attacking fighter. And this also gives us the flexibility to threaten Hawaii with it. So, not to mention this fleet as well. There's lots of considerations for the placement of our bombers. Subs off the coast of Japan. Manchuria is where we're getting a couple of things. Kwangtung is where we're going to get this artillery piece because it's a little bit closer. And then Japan. So we got lots of units here. Like, they can't, like Szechuan in particular, if they just stepped into Szechuan, whoo baby, the army would converge and just, I almost said convulse. Please don't convulse, army. Just on the ground, shaking. Let's see what happens, though. This is the Americans' chance to make a difference. They're going to do it by taking back a thing, but we counterattacked and killed the tank, which is 1 less defender in the capital. They do have access to the Suez Canal. They conquered Greenland. Watch out. They took back the Whiskey Islands. So this fleet, they did do it. Oh wait, what are they doing? They're giving me their capital, I think. It might look like this brilliant attack. I guess they didn't need to send in both their planes. I mean, dude, how are they going to defend their capital without these 10 units? I mean, they killed the Japanese Air Force. They did it. They took Xinjiang. But, Man, I'm excited to play this turn. Oh, I guess they did deploy some more units. I don't know. We bled Russia pretty dry, but it's now 11 fighters. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're killing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if I attack, all of our infantry gets shredded in this first turn for both sides. So I think we actually have to build up because there's so many fighters there, which means that the Japanese thing was a mistake. But at the same time, if they had all that stuff in Russia, right now, if they had 5 more men and 5 more artillery, that would be terrifying. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I can't figure out in my mind if they messed up or if that was brilliant. I mean, they killed a lot of Japanese fighters, but I do need them. Because I want to take Burma back. And we don't have that deep strike capability that I was talking about wanting. Because I want to take Burma back, because they're going to take that. I want to take Kazakh. I want to push Xinjiang. I don't know. I guess maybe I shouldn't have got sub. I should have got bomber. 1 bomber instead of 2 subs. I don't know. Whoa! Look at the Americans. They have gone in a direction I thought they would not go in. It seems like a lot of stuff, too. But it's really not that bad. It's just like a lot of ground troops, really. It's still, in terms of combat units, still just 7 with that battleship. Interesting. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the 6th year of the war. I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.